Anxiety is a very interesting phenomenon. And, we get anxious when we meet new people, when we're late for an appointment, when you're taking a test, when you go for a job interview, and so forth. And these are normal responses to everyday situations. However, when you continue to have anxiety that interferes with your normal life, it interferes with your quality of life, it causes a decrease in your health, or it hurts your job performance, then it is a problem that needs to be addressed. And I talked about that a little bit in the previous module. So in any case, the open field test, in that test you will determine whether anxiety is associated with being compulsive-like. So the question would be, are compulsive-like mice, like the HA1 and HA3 mice, more anxious in the open field? And we'll find out with the collection of the data. And you again will be collecting data on 22 to 23 animals. And what you will be measuring is a freezing behavior, which is the time it takes the animal to leave the central square of the open field arena after it's first been put into the arena. And the idea here is that the animal will freeze when it's really fearful and therefore not move a lot, and it would take that animal more time to leave the central square. Now, time spent in a fearful environment. So the time that the animal spends in the central square after it initially left the central square is a measure of anxiety, and generally the more time it spends in the central square, the less anxious it is. And then the other component is locomotor activity, which we will measure as the number of line crossings of a grid of 14 identical squares, with the idea that an animal that is less anxious will be exploring more and will have a higher level of locomotor activity. So now we'll just go into the details of how to analyze and collect the data, and I hope you enjoy this part of the course.